Saturday, October 25, 1913.
We will, if it is to your mind, continue our message of yesterday, in regard to those spheres of power which affect the Earth. Still concerning the solar system, we say that, on considering what we have already said, you will see that we have not yet mentioned all the complications which enter into the study of these spheres. For not alone do the concentric circles of zones about all the planets and the Sun commingle with all the rest, but also the relative combination is continually changing with the changing positions of these bodies and their consequent proximity to, or distance from, one another. So that it is quite literally correct to say that during no 2 seconds of time is the influence from them impinging on the surface of the Earth the same, nor is any combination of their influences identical in its effect, or intensity, all over the Earth at the same time, but differs in different localities. There must further be taken into our calculations the stream of radiation coming to this solar system from the systems of the other stars. All these things have to be reckoned in, for bear still in mind that we are speaking of zones and spheres of spiritual beings whose powers are energizing continuously, and whose wakefulness never fails. This, then, is a rough outline of the conditions which obtain among the planetary systems whose outer manifestation is visible to the eye and telescope of the astronomer. But what is thus observed is but a very little mite when compared with the whole. It is but as a small shower of spray which besprinkles the voyager, as he stands in the prow of the vessel, and scatters itself in globules of mist around him. He sees the miniature globes of water where they float reflecting the light around them, and says they are innumerable. But if this be so, then what of the ocean itself from whence they came, and of which they are, and to which they will return? As that small cloud of spray mist is to the ocean, so is the star-bemisted heaven, as seen from the surface of the earth, to the whole. And as the depths of the ocean are to the eye of him who gazes over the vessel's side, so are the depths of space and all that it holds to the human intelligence. Now let us think a little further afield. Space itself is but a term used to describe the indescribable. It is, therefore, without definite meaning. One of your poets began a poem on space and gave it up in despair. Wisely, for had he intended to do adequate justice to the theme, he would have been compelled to continue that poem forever. For what is space, and where are the boundaries of it set? Is it illimitable? If so, it has no center. Where, then, is God his dwelling place? He is said to be at the center of all creation. But what is creation? A creation which has relation to space, or a creation which is invisible. Now it is useless, for all practical purposes, to speculate on things we do not understand. It is well to feel after these things sometimes in order that we may discover our own limitations. This done, let us now speak of such things as we, in a measure, are able to understand. All these zones of which we have spoken are inhabited by beings according to their degree, who progress from one sphere to a higher, as they accumulate knowledge within themselves. You will see from what we already have written that, as we advance from the lowest to the higher spheres, there comes a region of spheres which are interplanetary, inasmuch as they embrace within their circumference more planets than one. Still advancing, we come to a state where the spheres are of such a diameter that they are interstellar, that is, they embrace within their circumference not only more planets than one, but more stars, or suns, than one. All these are filled with beings, according to their degree of sublimity, of holiness and of power, whose influence extends to all, both spiritual and material, within the sphere to which they have attained. We have but advanced, you see, from planet to star, and from star to stars in their grouping. Beyond are spheres more awful still and more tremendous. But of these we in this dense sphere know but little indeed, and nothing certain. But you will be able faintly to realize, by a large effort of your imaginative powers, The meaning we had in mind when we wrote last evening of him whose name is to us unknown and unknowable. So, when you worship the Creator, you have, I suppose, no very definite idea of the order of Creator you intend. It is easy to say you mean the Creator of all. But what do you mean by all? Now, know this for this much, at least, we have progressed to know, that you do right to worship the Creator and Father of all, whatever you mean if you mean anything definite by that very inclusive word. Still, your worship passes first into the lower spheres, and through them to the higher, and some worship goes farther and into higher spheres than other worship does, according to its worth and inherent power. And some goes very far indeed. Far above us is the Christ sphere of glorious intensity of light and awful beauty. Your worship, then, proceeds to the Father through him, that is, through the one who came to earth and manifested the Christ to men. Now, all that we have said is true, yet it is truth expressed quite inadequately by reason of the limitations, both of us who are speaking to you, and of your own earth state. For you will understand that when we speak of proceeding through these spheres, we are really using phrasing of a local character, as of a journey from one locality through another to a third. And I fear, friend, that I can do little more at this present time than remind you that these states of which we have been thinking are rather better expressed as spheres than as zones. For, I would repeat, the higher include within themselves all the lower, and he who moves in any of them is present in all those inferior to his own. For which reason, it is not without some degree of truth that we speak of him who is all, and in all, and throughout all, and of the omnipresence of God. Now, we feel that we have labored this theme over long, and should cease further endeavor to put into the little wineglass of earth knowledge and wisdom, to understand the vintage of these wide vineyards of the heavens. One thing is enough to know for you and us, the husbandman and the vine-dresser, both are sure in their power and in their wisdom to deal with us. Toward them is our journey set, and ours is to do the thing we find to hand, to do it thoroughly and well, and finish it quite, and then to reach out for the task set next in order. When that is finished well, then another will be awaiting us. We shall never find that we have reached the end, I think. For as one progresses, one comes to feel the possibility more and more of a truth beneath those words, forevermore, world without end. But we doubt if you do yet, friend, and we say this with courtesy. And now we bless you, and leave you in the hope we may come again, for it is well, and there is sweetness in it, to bend to whisper into willing ears of some of the minor glories of our heavenly realms. Be sure, friend, and tell others who will hear it, that this life which awaits you is not a mere bodiless dream in a twilight region somewhere beyond the boundary of the real and actual. No, it is strenuous and intense, this life of ours. It is filled with service and endeavors crowned, one after another, with success of patient pressing onward, and of indomitable wills attuned each to others in comrade service for the Lord of love, whose life we sense and inspire, but whom we do not see, and whose home is too sublime for us to know. Onward we press, and often take the hand of one a little behind us, and with the other seize the skirt of one a little on before. And so we go, my brother, yes, and so do you, and others working with you. And if we are a little way on before, well, there are many who lag behind. Take their hand in your own, and gently, remembering your own comparative frailty, and if the task be too heavy for you, do not loose that hand you hold, but reach the other out, and here is mine, and that of many another with us. You shall not fail, so you keep your own vision and your life both bright and pure. Nay, rather shall that vision grow more glorious. For is it not written, friend, that such as are pure in heart shall see God?